Hi guys, I am MC Crew of Truth, and today we're going to look into the Telegram group called Hats. Now, I came across Hats through Matty, so Matt Moore on tour down the bottom there. Matt sent me some interesting sort of screenshots around the owner of Hats, and the reason why I really got interested in it was because the Telegram group at the time had teamed up with the Great British Bird, who I've done a video on, Clare Hocking Okell. She has made some crazy claims meant to be emptying the dums of children. She has no sort of military or any sort of background, social work background or anything like that. You know, she's just came on the scene recently, says she's working with Charlie Ward, she's working with Donald Trump. So she came into my Telegram group and started calling us all, you know, paedophile enablers, saying that we were working for Matt Hancock and all sorts, just anything to try and discredit us because I'd made videos on Charlie Ward. And this led me on to making a video about her and her foul mouth. That's kind of where my interest and where the connection comes. And obviously Matt had set up my Telegram channel and he's an admin there. And so he tipped me off. And he'd also told me about some dissension in the Hats Telegram group. So quickly, I just want to run over what the Hats Telegram group is and why we are talking about it today. What was the Hats Telegram group originally about and who started it?
Well, Stephen Broughton started it. It was, well, from what he told me is that it's a worldwide truth movement. Hats meant hardcore awakened truth seekers. But if you look back at it, like he's one of the only truth groups I know that has a private channel that has a lot of people in it and tries to commercially sell products. That's interesting.
So what sort of products is he trying to sell?
Well, he sells corny t-shirts that he makes on his Photoshop, and you know, they're all right, I guess, but you know, like it doesn't look like a professional company, but he's spamming everybody, stealing people's videos, putting trademarks of his name on every video he could find. That's because I had a conversation once and he was talking about how he could harvest the data. Then I looked into his past and I realized that, you know, there's a lot more to Stephen than meets the eye.
Wow. So am I right in thinking that he was sort of peddling this Telegram group as fighting not only fighting for freedom, but like anything to do with rescuing the children, or am I wrong in that?
Yeah, no, he would talk about the things that common truthers would, but you know, some people are trained to profile people to get their attention, to infiltrate them. Like if you've heard the terms controlled opposition or paid opposition, it's some, you know, some things he does makes it look like that.
Just quickly, I want to go around the room and we'll start with you, Max. What was your involvement with the group? When did you join? What was your involvement? And did you know Stephen on a personal level or?
Yeah. Basically, I didn't know him really, but he came into a small group of 35 protesters in San Diego, California, helping Amber Gillis fight Mask. And that's where Alex Long Games comes in. You know, he's part of the training of her and the protests that happened there. And Mask Free America Coalition is a group of people on Facebook that fights masks regulations every day. For example, Lucas Wall's on there. He's been in the news. And basically, Stephen reached out to our group. And when I look back at it, we only had 35 people? We went there just to talk amongst each other because we were banned on Facebook. We weren't trying to like get a number on a group. You know, he came to our group and with Shan, who's an admin at the time, who's kind of strange herself. And they came into our group and asked us to go to their group. And from there, like this whole, like it opened like a gate of all these things happened that distracted us, took us off our mission sometime.
Just to be clear around, you know, you'd mentioned he was the only group sort of selling merchandise.
He hadn't done that yet. I'm a digital I'm a digital marketer myself. So I sell my products, you know, like my music and stuff. But what I don't do is go into people's groups to promote like my stuff, like, and only do that and not respond to people. And he's kind of created this whole like vibe on Telegram of taking people's attention off their conversations with different things he does, you know, like send this person here, send this person there. He gets admins and asks them to add people to his group, you know.
Sure, he's massively networked on Telegram, hasn't he? You know, I'd seen some screenshots where he's talking to himself as talking about himself as some sort of Telegram god, right?
Right.
Sort of saying that,
Delusion
you
of
know, I
grandeur.
basically own Telegram now. I think that's actually a statement that he made to one of his victims, I will say, in inverted commas. And I just want to get across why we are here talking about this guy today. Lots of people own Telegram. Lots of people have Telegram groups. Some of them are shills. So, what is it that is alarming about Stephen? Can anyone else
He's
jump in here?
predatory ways, mate. He's predatory
Predatory
ways.
ways. Did you say? Is that Kent D
Yes.
down there?
Yeah, mate. He's
I
predatory
think
ways.
the way he was pressuring members to buy his shitty merchandise, he didn't just tell people, you know, like, oh, we have this for sale. He was DMing members and saying to them, like, have you bought your sweatshirt yet? And this one particular girl, she'd said, I'm a single parent family, literally living paycheck to paycheck. He said, well, you could at least buy a cup. And she said, look, I've told you, you know, I don't have money for stuff like that. And he was like, well, do you respect me? I mean, the DM was really shit. You know,
Yeah.
when you pull him up on these things, he'll make excuses like, you know, oh, I was just excited about the merchandise. No, you're a grown ass man. Do you know what I mean? You knew full well what he was doing. And as admins, I think he was pulled up at least on 2 occasions for trying to sell the merch the way that he was doing. You know, it looked to me anyway that he was trying to prey on what he assumed were weaker people.
Sure.
You know, he'd stopped for a while once he was pulled up on it, but it didn't take long for us to hear that he was at it again.
So basically, what you're saying is he's pressurizing people, even those who really can't afford it. He was pressuring them into buying merch and making them feel bad. You know, guilt tripping them if they didn't, no matter what the circumstance they were in as well. Which is quite, you know, that's going a bit further than grifting. That is almost, you know, bullying. That's really taking advantage of people when you're not leaving them alone. I've seen that sort of behavior before, but you know, it's quite sickening. I've seen screenshots of him messaging people, pressuring them to buy his merchandise.
Well, he likes to ask women that have got like a pretty profile picture to send him a picture, or if they bought some merchandise, he asks for a picture to come be sent back to him.
Sorry, before he sells the merchandise, he asks, "Well, you need to send me a picture first." Did you just...
Well, he'll ask for a picture either way if they buy merchandise or if they don't. But there was a previous admin in there that liked to chat up women, on voice chat and that, and we had all the admins had all got together because they had enough of it, gone to Stephen about it, and he didn't want to do nothing at all. It went into explained to him what I actually do for my job and what laws I know, that he can get nicked even though it's over the internet as well for being involved in it, and he went very quiet. And then we started getting PMs off of women, sending us the whole screenshots which we've sent you, of him asking for photos and sending photos to them.
You know, he's asking women for photos online. You know, this is quite, you know, not that it's right. You know, he's not the only bloke to be doing that on the internet. But what is kind of important is, you know, his standing in this. You know, he's a Telegram god in his own words, but he's got, you know, lots of people following him, looking up to him, buying merchandise of him, and he's taken advantage big time of this status, I suppose.
Well, I was booted out, and so was Lady G, because we could see through all his bullshit, and we could see what he was doing. We could see what Shan was doing.
I don't know what what that like entails. I don't know what it gets him, or but it's what he tells people apparently. Going after screenshots that I was sent anyway.
Why we're investigating him today, so we've got him having sort of a Telegram empire. He's networked certain groups, as I said at the beginning, which we'll go into at some point later down the line, which mainly caused dissension. He had teamed up with Clare Hocking Okell. I'm not going to be around. He's a grifter. And
can I just? I didn't hear that. He doesn't do any research. He's only in it for the money.
Right, here you go. So here's another point.
Charlie Ward, right? All the admins all do their own research that was in there that all left. Right? We all did our own research. We all had the same opinion, right? That Charlie Ward was a fraud.
Sure.
And we had a massive argument on there about it. And Shane come along, and we was all told that we weren't allowed to say nothing bad about Charlie Ward. They're bought out over
who's
their
Shan? Is Shan another admin?
She's like one underneath him.
Right, so she's the top admin.
Yeah.
She's the top general.
Yeah.
She's not who she says she is.
No, I think we all think she's a shill.
Well, I mean, I personally I talked to her, like often. She bought my CDs, she works for some social worker type of thing. She's Indian, so am I. So that was what she tried to talk to me about. And we noticed Stephen was on my show twice, and he tried to step on my toes, and he wanted me to make it a hats thing. And I wasn't cool with it. And the more that I was doing my own thing, I told him I'd help him, I'd work with him. But the more I did my own thing, the more upset he got. So and then it got to a point where he's calling people on my team, trying to get them to go on his shit instead of mine, which that's like my roommates that live with me and my crew. I mean, come on, dude. Are you that fucking dumb? So I'm sitting right here while you're typing him that, it's
okay.
So
right.
Yeah, we kind of all saw it. Like everybody here knows that, how he is, regardless of, what people think of him.
He doesn't do his own research. So he's basically, it's all about the money.
He's a disinformation person. He's the biggest problem in the truth movement. He mixes bullshit with truth and puts it in your face. He posted something from a long time ago and said it happened yesterday.
So basically, what I'm fighting, what are my channels about? I bring up all these, Charlie Ward has said this.
Same thing.
2017.
There's an operation against us.
There's
an operation against people like us, brother. They're against us. They're fighting us. That's their way of fighting. We're in a cyber war.
Yeah, but you've got that. You've got this misinformation that's on purpose for this cyber wars.
It's to throw you off. That's why you put out the truth. Then people follow you. Then you put out some fucking bullshit. If I do hard work and I sell my shit, that doesn't matter. What matters is when you're doing it for the purpose of doing someone wrong and destroying their movement and making money for who's telling you to do that.
So are you trying to say, because I was about to say that the other side of things is people that are just bullshitters and are there for the popularity.
No, I'm saying people are doing,
and they will say anything that can
look
get
at his
them
history.
that popularity.
Look at his history. He used to support
that he's hired shill, or do you think that
he's fucking chill either way? He's not one of us. That's what I'm saying. Whatever he is, we can look at his history and get I mean, here's the facts. He was working. He's a recruiter. He went to, when he was in his college, he said that his two influences were Jeff Bezos and Ted Turner.
Yeah,
I mean, Ted Turner owns CNN, that's one of our biggest enemies. Look who he's chill with. He has a Facebook page that stopped doing shit in 2017. Up to that point, it has 779. Why does a private channel on Truth he runs have 10,000 people? He has a Facebook that's public with his face on it, with his real name and his LinkedIn real name. Nothing about truth. It's about I protect the NHS. Like Lady G sent me a screenshot of protect the NHS and wear your mask kind of shit. Then the NHS had rainbow logos on it. And the CDC was doing crazy stuff like that over here. So basically, what it looks like to me is some world organization is choosing certain people in certain professions to infiltrate our fucking movement and come inside here and, you know, like put like they're one of us, give us stuff we don't know from other stuff they've data mined. It's like Telegram is one of the best data mines on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could totally be planted there, you know, in our movement to try and you know, gain power, gain pull, gain support, network.
It looks like that
be a
to me.
top figure.
It looks like that to me. Based on his history, ID Medical, the tactics he's using in there. What I do feel from him is he's not doing this for the purpose that we are.
Sure.
You know, I do video audio services. I want to get paid for my work, for my labor, for my time that I put into my work. So do you. You know, so does anybody who puts their time. But I didn't even do this because of that. I didn't have a motive. I'm pissed off. You know, I'm gonna stop everything I'm doing. I'm gonna fight this shit. That's where I was with the lockdown. You know, I'm not. That's why I did this. He's like, oh, I can make money off this. You know, that's what. And when I realized that, I was really, I was like, I was willing to work with them at first, and then it was like disappointment. I felt disappointed. I was like, you're a piece of shit. I can't believe you would do this for this purpose and do these little games, and you're trying to cause division. And who do you work for? And it made me look into him. And, you know, ID Medical is a medical place that says the kind of things that we don't agree with. I looked at his friends. They were all members of the places and people were fighting, especially like, you know, like Rainbow Boys on the Rainbow side were like most of his friends on Facebook. But and LinkedIn, it tells his history, who he works for, what his influence is. And you look at that and you're like, why is this guy in charge of something that like this isn't for the purpose of what it seems to be?
What you can definitely take from the whole entire scenario with what Max is saying and with what I have found personally as well is he's not who he says he is. He's not. Whoever he projects himself as online is completely different to who he really is. And I mean, that's one of my jobs is to find out who people are in our inner circles, who they are, where they're going, where they're coming from. And he doesn't fit. There's something off about that dude.
Yep.
Sure. He's pretending to be this truther guy, but actually, when you look into underneath the surface, when you look into what you can find on him, you know, there's rainbows, there's protect the NHS, there's a guy that influences me, it's Jeff Bezos, and it doesn't add up. And that's what you're saying, Alex.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't.
He's a confused child. That's what my read on him. He literally is a confused child. And
well, that's the other part of his attitude or his personality. Like G says, he's somebody that's trying to be somebody more than who he is, because he still has a lot of immaturity to himself and still a lot of growing up he needs to do. But he's obviously involved in some things that don't really align with the same things that we may align with. You know what I mean? Which instantly makes him highly sus.
So could he be an opportunist in all this? You know, seeing money making, popularity, harvesting,
which in the end hurts us.
Yes, man.
Well, it definitely hurts us and our, you know, the movement or the community, doesn't it? Really, because there's a lot of people that probably worship him.
So
right?
I came on to not Facebook. I came on Telegram not too long ago, really. And the first group I was hit with was his group, straight out of the gate. And
so it's like it's been promoted.
Me too.
I didn't even realize who it was or any of it. I mean, I saw what he was putting out, and I saw a lot of the things that he was trying to push forward. And you know, I'm a sit back and watch kind of person. I'm never gonna just get right into it. You know, I will wait, and that's what I did with him, or with any group.
Well, yeah, that's kind of strange. You guys both, that was the first group you were hit with when you joined Telegram, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's almost as if, you know, you get these different YouTubers, groups and things like that, they get pushed in your face, and then you end up being a part of the community thinking they're on your team, they're on the same level as you, right? But then there's always this fishiness. Like, how did I mean, like my stuff, you have to find me, or someone has to say you need to check out M's work, right? You don't log on to Facebook or YouTube and it goes, you know what, you should check out M's Secret Truth. Roads won't lead to me. My Telegram group is small. I like to keep it small. I don't actually admin it. Matty, who's trying to come in and out. Here we go again. He's trying to connect with us. He does a very good job at admin, as well as a few other admins. But again, it doesn't explode because a lot of people, they want to hear what they want to hear, really, and this strikes me as one of these groups, like the YouTubers that I've exposed that talk nonsense, but it grabs views because people, they want these things to be happening. They want to have these med beds coming tomorrow. They want to have this quantum financial system, monetary system happening next week. As per Charlie Ward, they want to look into things that they know that there's something wrong and there's things going on in our skies. But there's this nice spoken English person talking about having sex with cat aliens, and they relate to a part of that,
Yeah. Well, Stephen, he doesn't care about any of that crap. All he cares about is his numbers, his pocketbook, and whether or not he's gonna jump into some ass that night.
Right.
Yeah. True.
That's about it.
The thing that you were saying about when he joined up with what's her face, Claire, the Clare bird.
Clare Hocking Okell, Great British Bird.
That's the one. So when he literally hooked up with her somehow, came into the admin group that we have, and literally put it out there, we're now teamed up with her, blah, blah, blah. I'd never heard of the bird, to be fair. But I don't play well when I'm told what to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean that in like a bitch way or anything like that. It's just, I don't know them. And we know the truth movement has been, people are, the shit, it's full of shills, groups are being attacked. And she joined, and literally, I think that's when Matty left. And he was, you will start promoting this, and no. What we went and did, we started throwing your videos up in the feed, me and Dean, because it just, no. The same with and it was like, you will post Charlie Ward stuff. No, I won't post any shill shit,
So they were pressuring you to support Charlie Ward and the So let's get into this topic, because this is kind of, like I said at the beginning, this is how I got into it. This is the biggest thing for me. When you were meant to be freedom of speech, truther group, you guys, a lot of you admins started. Even Matt, Matty is someone that I've known, for a while, and he was admin in my group. And he was putting the 30 reasons I don't trust Charlie Ward video in there, other videos and that, and you guys were told to stop doing that, and you need to support Charlie Ward. And actually, the Great British Bird is now teaming up with us, and Matt left the group because he knew me, he knew her behaviour coming into our Telegram group, me and Matt, and he knew that she was a shill, he knew that Charlie was a shill. I'm guessing you guys were all of the same consensus.
We all knew. Yeah.
And this was a sort of a big changing moment, wasn't it, really, for all of you? And this is why we're here today, I guess. And that was probably his biggest mistake to exposing himself, was being like, you know what, we're going to team up with these shills, right?
Yeah. He literally did, he kind of threw that at us, and then we were seeing the shit that the people from her group were posting. And it was
when he did that, Seeger,
go ahead.
That Claire come on the page, didn't she? And she was giving it on the page, and she gave it to one of the other admin. And the other admin replied back very politely compared to how some of us would have done.
Right, okay.
And he's still got a phone call off Stephen telling him he's not to talk to her no more, she gets good information off Charlie Wolf, where she works for Charlie Wolf, and we was
And
all
she's
like,
removing children
that's
from the
a load of
dumbs.
bollocks.
Wow.
And if that's where it's going, we're all off skis.
It makes sense.
So is there any sort of part of you guys that think that he's just gullible and susceptible to that? Or do you guys think, hang on a minute, she's popular, Charlie's popular?
I did. When he first brought Clare in, literally we got flooded by about 1,000 new members literally overnight. And it went from being about truth. And me personally, I try not to edit or censor anybody. I've had it done to me. Don't like it being done. So unless it's something really like drastic, I don't. And when he did that with the admin that Kent was just on by, we got invaded by all these people that was apparently from Clare's group. They kind of took over a little bit, and it was like Clare's group, and I think she saw the numbers and she saw a new platform. And Stephen, at that time, I could possibly forgive the fact that maybe he was a bit naive, but he was warned. He had a big revolt from the admins. Everybody was kicking off. And then he brought it back a second time. Now, a second time, that to me, that says you know for well what you're doing. You're not a child. I mean, what is he, 30?
Looks about, looks about that, if not late 20s.
My 12-year-old has more sense.
He's still in nappies. What are you on about?
Well, maybe he's not 30. Yeah, he definitely 20 to 30, I would say.
Yeah, I think maybe about 28, I want to say. But
he said, but I mean, regardless. So there is this sort of dissension that happens when all of a sudden a kind of shill and her group takes over. I tried to reach a lot of people in the Great British Bird groups. She had, I think it was 4 at the time. She had 4, and this was just before the kind of Hats dissension, and she joined up with Hats literally probably only a week or so before, and I'd made that video. And her groups, she had, I think it was 4 or 5 different groups. They were all linked up. They were all public. And after my video, and obviously it kept getting shared around, she set her main group to private and got all of her followers into one group. And she had people watching my group. She had sleepers in my group. Anyone that then said anything, they didn't even have to say anything against Clare. If they said anything, the admins were this committed to it. They would see that's someone from M's group, block. Right? They didn't even need to say anything that would get them blocked. It was like anyone from M's group, block them. That's how much effort these people were putting into silencing the truth. You've got all these truthers out there disabling their comments. If you start talking or asking questions that are not positive questions towards them, they will either try and shoot you down, then block you. Or
why would one of us do that?
One of you wouldn't do that.
Any of us running? Why would I'm just saying? Ask yourself why would someone that talks like we do? Why would we do that?
Exactly.
You'd have to be an agent.
What you got to hide?
That's what the CIA does.
And why would a truther turn around and say that she's gonna get someone to fuck someone up the arse because they're saying things against her?
Exactly. She's got a bunch of guys all over 6 foot in London that will come down and they will rape your ass. That is basically how she said it, in exactly the way she said it. No, thank you.
So you go targeting the person with the letter C anymore, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to rip you a new fucking arsehole. And I'm telling you, I fucking will. I don't need to do it. I've got bunches of fucking guys over 6'5" hanging around in London that will just rape your ass as soon as they look at you. Your choice, you decide.
We're all supposed to be on the same page, the same team. I mean, each person slightly has different belief systems, whatever what's going on, you know, and I don't much care because we all have a common goal. So for somebody to come along and do dodgy shit like turn your comments off, like, you know, vet all your members to make sure they're not in a specific group. I mean, does it really matter? Does it matter that you know, I mean, I'm in quite a few groups. I might not speak in them all. In fact, I might not even look in most of them. But I won't be dictated to by anybody to remove myself because I'm in somebody else's group. You know, why I can't understand why anybody would have that mentality when we're all fighting for the same thing.
It does seem odd, doesn't it? You know, if you've got nothing to hide, you can talk. You know, if someone is obviously trolling you and they are just saying, "No, you're a this and you're a that," and I don't, you know, and there's no reason, there's no actual conversation, you can't have any reasonable conversation, then of course that person is going to get blocked. But if they say, "What can I ask you? You know, what proof have you got of you going to these dums or anything? You know, or can I, you know,
Charlie will."
When they get blocked straight away, yeah. Can I ask you more about your being a doctor? You know, getting blocked instantly. And this person's a troll. Get rid of them. You know, and the same with their team or their avid followers. Which, for me, them going into that much effort to be like, no, shoot these people down. That's cognitive dissonance. That's I've heard these questions before, and I don't want to ask these questions. I'm more comfortable in the truth I had before you even questioned this guy. So get rid of these trolls. I want to continue living in this fantasy world. That is not good for us. That is not good for them. That is not good for anyone, right? So yeah, if people out there disabling their comments, especially, but those deleting the comments, you know, bad enough. Those disabling all comments, blocking anyone that asks any questions, that's not a truther movement. That's a cult.
I have the same problem.
That's like Stephen going around Telegram, joining up with all these other groups, and then as soon as they share something on his page, he's straight on there deleting it.
It's you know, censorship at its worst, isn't it?
I have the same problem with a lot of different people, especially coming out of what people think we're coming out of COVID lockdown style living. You know, everybody's kind of easing up and whatnot. So a lot of the people that you considered allies online are starting to show their true colors because they think it's over. It's not over, not even close. But you know, they you know, they've collected their masses of people, and they're like little China dolls to them, a little porcelain doll set. They're all their people. It's not even people to them anymore. So they do exactly what they were fighting. It's like, oh, we're freedom movement. We're freedom of speech movement. Yeah, we let you say anything. Now they're like, all right, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Okay, we're good. Facebook will take care of us now.
Yeah. Let's go through what we've said so far. That, you know, he has a lot of influence over many people in networking across Telegram. It would seem that if you join Telegram, you may be suggested to join his group straight away. It would seem that his background doesn't match to be a truther. You know, he will say all this, but when you look underneath, you know, it would seem that he's possibly planted there. Also, it's been mentioned about his merchandise, about how much he's selling his merchandise, about how he is almost bullying people into buying that merchandise, even when they are in situations. I mean, how does someone ignore someone saying, "Look, I can't. I've got, you know, I'm a single mother, this, that, and the other," to be pushing this, you know, but you need to buy something. You know, God, where's your conscience, man? Where's your heart?
That same member, M, if I'm not mistaken, he actually banned her not long after. For when I asked him where's she gone, I couldn't find her in his group. He said she was banned, and his favourite line for banning people is anti-Semitism.
Oh, right.
That's what he banned her for. And I mean, the girl was lovely. You know, I can't see how she would come out with anything that was you know, like hate based or anything like that. She wasn't even nasty to him when he was trying to like force sell her his tap, you know.
The women that would speak out to us, G, about him asking for photos, and we pull him up about it, and then
so this is the next point I was going to mention. The sort of not perverted side, but the, what would you call it? The, you know, asking for pictures from women, constantly hitting on the women that are meant to be a part of his group. I think it's almost unethical. Well, it is unethical, isn't it? Right. If you have people that are following you, if you're an influencer, to use that to...
He's utilizing his swagger to pull the chicks in.
Exactly. Not swagger, being
if you want to call it swagger.
Well, not swagger, exactly. So it's his influence.
I've seen ducks with better swagger.
I'll tell you something about Stephen, because I pay attention to him. He's definitely a person of interest in my book. I haven't personally had any interaction with him, but I don't really need to have any interaction with him. He does have a lot of different tactics that he uses on Telegram to influence people and to operate his groups. He utilizes a lot of different types of accounts that you can't necessarily connect to him, but they're his. And he likes to keep himself in the back of the room, usually in his groups, as if he's not doing anything, because he gets other people to actually do it for him. But he does pull the strings on a lot of different things, and he does have methods to make him seem bigger than he really is. And a lot of the methods aren't exactly Telegram approved. So you need to definitely keep an eye open for particular types of members that join your group, because with as big as he is, I did notice immediately he has a certain way of targeting people, and he uses a certain type of individual to run into your group, to kind of keep an eye on you, to figure out the best way to either integrate himself into your circle or tear you down from the inside.
Yeah, we tried doing that with us, and we spotted it straight away, and I deleted him. And then straight away, the person that had done all the artwork for hats had been deleted off of a Christian channel as admin, and then she was spoken to because he had been booted out of the group that, like, the admins that had left had got into.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about the fact that he has a large influence, that he was networking, that he was treating this almost as a business, money over truth, that he was selling merchandise, pressuring people into buying that. You know, also looking into his background, he doesn't seem like one of us. When you look into it, he doesn't add up. You know, some of the stuff that's been found out about him in terms of, you know, the whole idolizing Jeff Bezos and
he's a liar.
You know, he doesn't seem like he is meant to be where he is, in terms of, or maybe that he's been planted there. Then, you know, he made a connection and joined up with known shills, and then we've got to the point then where, so a lot of you were admin in his channel, all of a sudden all left.
He kicked us. We didn't leave. He kicked us.
Oh, so
he made me the admin of the USA. And then he took, like, everybody in my crew. I had more people that were living here. We called this the compound. And, like, basically he started making conversations with my people and trying to do deals with them, and then started ordering them around. And then he got into a fight with Prince, my friend. And Prince was like, fuck this dude, because this dude straight told him, like, hey, why don't you go here? And this even goes to more. There's just a bunch, dude. There's too much.
So he's kicked a lot of you, but before that, there was some dissension, right? There was, like, so first of all, they were telling you, hang on, don't say anything bad about Charlie Ward. Hang on, we are now.
No, he told me to, like, shake my friend that lived with me, or I'm done. He's like, look, hats is the biggest thing. Don't you get it? And then he told me he's with this round table. And this really fucks me up, because Alex and I spent days investigating this weird thing with this cloning site called Conservative Patriot. It's different sites. It's using to get Trump coins ads, and it's all like this guy named Justice something. As all this keeps making this, we saw this guy make room. Then we saw Stephen doing it. He was making the room with the channel was hats where he takes and posts videos all day of like the Giants mixed with like stuff we talk about. And then here's the Giant, and there's a guy putting evidence from like a satire site.
He's utilizing. See, God help us all the day Stephen actually can figure out how to build bots and program. Until then, he needs to rely on other people smarter than him. So he utilizes a technique with bots and cloning of either large groups or smaller groups with a lot of activity. And he will utilize another individual that I'm pretty sure is based out in Russia.
Yeah.
I don't want to say his name, and I'm not going to say his
Russian.
name.
Yeah,
he speaks Russian and he's Turkish.
But he can grab the inside of a group within a few seconds, 5,000 people, take it from one place, put it in another place, start it up. Instant, pop and go. And he probably did that a few times in the matter of an hour.
Alex, is that the one that lives in Russia but also lives in America?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know what? He's just as bad as Stephen, because he's the one that me and Lady G have gone to Stephen about, because I caught him doing it on voice chat. Right. And Stephen wouldn't do nothing, and we all got together and said, if you don't do nothing, we're all walking.
He's sneaky.
And
I'm on him though.
He would have been proper fucked. Right. When me and Lady G got booted, right, he got in another 8 admins to replace 2 of us.
Wow.
I talked to him on the phone recently and he lied. He said, like, I said, hey, didn't you used to work at ID Medical? And then he hung up the thing on me. And then he went to he called me from a different name, just like these people do. They make like 10 different accounts, add them to your group. Then a little time goes by. Then they start hitting you with like weird shit. And then they don't interact with people in the group. And then it gets to the point where our bots kick them now. And we found hundreds. You know, we couldn't believe it. Like, these people had been working on it.
He'll grab all the clickbait stuff. You know what I mean? That's why he was Max was saying giants and UFOs and all this other crazy crap, and especially Trump. He'll go after Trump like a crazy person because he's the biggest clickbait thing ever, and he'll hook everything up to a clickbait bank account, and he just run it through your group all day long.
This is the thing, you know. I mean, I know a lot of people want to hear things, or a lot of people are looking for stuff, or a lot of people understand clickbait, you know, and how that works. When you've got someone that's constantly throwing out clickbait with no real discernment, you can be sure then, and a lot of us guys that have experience in this, you know, we'll understand clickbait. We might even click on some clickbait to see what this clickbait's all about. But you know it's clickbait. And when someone is that is kind of their MO, you know, that
but if you're posting like
all this, you know, you can be pretty sure that they are a shill or just in it to whatever's going to get those clicks.
It's both. It's like, I mean, it's not just that it's a click bank, it's that it's the same exact click bank over and over and over again, because they teach in the affiliate marketing courses that a person doesn't even look at what you post until you do it like 7 times on the email, keep hitting them up, you know, and like on the 7th time, that's when they like actually look at it. If they get a repetitive message, that's what they're trained. So that's what they're doing. They're posting in everybody's room with people over and over and over again. Like the same, like, Patriot this, Patriot that, Patriot this, and then it's always for a Trump coin sale.
Sure. And on all that clickbait is a link to his merchandising link.
There you go.
Of course.
Every time. Yeah.
Click, here, get your attention.
Get a whole show on
it. Not only had he been asking for pictures from women and things like that, he had tried taking advantage of vulnerable ladies and trying to start relationships with them. But these were obviously superficial relationships with admin who he was trying to keep on his good side to help with his admin work, to be one of these avid followers, I guess. There was one particular relationship that he got into, which was quite interesting in terms of how he led this woman on. What was the woman from? Was Turkish or?
I couldn't tell you where that one was from, mate. There's been so many.
Mr. T's haircut. Anyone know who this guy is?
Yeah.
Ended their association with Stephen. Apparently, he's using his channel to hit on women. Slime punched out. I knew it was this lady called, is it V? Yeah, the Turkish lady that he started a relationship with. And,
yes.
you know, he was talking about moving to Turkey and she was talking about moving there, and it was quite serious. Well, for her, it was serious.
Yeah.
He'd sent multiple videos. And then this is the point where he's rubbing his nipples.
What? We're not going to see that, are we?
Well, I'll try and find the rubbing the nipples and I'll try and put it on the video.
Good morning. As you can see, I am zombie, and you have very good English. And yes, I am just wake up. So yeah, I'm a little bit tired, like crazy. It means I have coffee. Like right now, I need coffee. Give me coffee. I love you.
This is one way that it's been put. We have reciprocal sharing arrangements with various groups. Hats is promoted heavily within many of the other groups. We had approached Stephen, rearranging this with him, and he indicated he was interested and would come back to us with a description to be added to the links. He never did. That, plus he seems to want to make a name for himself, just my opinion, like some kind of alt celeb. I don't like it. The whole thing smells off. Even just the general flavour of hats, I've never really gelled with it. The whole concept seems a bit silly to me. That said, we would have been happy to work with them had the owner been the type to do what they say they will. Here we go. So we've got him talking to this lady that he has a relationship with, I guess. I'm a passionate person with love. I'll make you feel warm. I'll also protect you. I'm a protector. It's my nature. These are some of the things that he's saying to this woman. I will sponsor you here. Will we marry here? Everything will be okay. I mean, that's pretty serious. It's talking about marriage.
Well, he had a girlfriend.
Then a guy will say anything to get his dick wet.
But, you know, she's saying things like, you know, I'd love to make you a coffee, a Turkish coffee, good for your tiredness, because he was talking about being tired. And he's like, I'd love to drink your coffee. And he's like, you've done so much for the group. I'll do anything for you. You've helped the group to grow. These sort of things, you know, it's taking advantage of someone. And I feel really sorry for this woman.
She's only a young girl, and all, you know. She's not very old. I think I'd say she's maybe early 20s, very early 20s.
This relationship, it starts with all this stuff, like I've just said to you, how beautiful you are, this, that, and the other. But when are we going to marry? My father won't like it, etc. But he says at one point, I love you. And she says, I trust you, Stephen. And she says, remember something? And he's question mark. Who is your boss? And she says, you. And he says, promise me you'll never forget it. And she says, I promise.
He loved that. Yeah. That was a great note to end on. I got to head out. I can't take anymore. Send me some of this stuff so I can take it in like tiny doses. Okay.
Well, I've got about 100 screenshots here of this. I'm trying to skim through it quickly so we can talk about some of these main points. But there was one for you, Alex. I'll try and send the rest to you. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
She was there thinking that Stephen was her boss. I think that literally, I think she'd had enough being messed around. I don't know how far you got with the screenshots, but she joined somebody else's group.
Well, this is where we're at now. This is where we're at now. So he suddenly says out of the blue in these messages, "Is your loyalty with me or Craig?" And she says, "You," but he made me admin suddenly. But then he let me get out of his group. I hope he doesn't take it as rude. he says he's a traitor. And she was kind of like, well, I know, I thought you knew about this and it's fine and stuff. And he's like, you will leave and block him now. I cut my connection with him. He went behind my back. Please block him. By the way, I loved you. I'm waiting for you. You know, and this poor woman. How controlling, and you know how. Someone else had made her admin in their group, and I think at this point maybe that she stepped down from being admin. Go on.
It was a Hats admin. Was Craig,
right?
And I think he also, like myself, got many complaints about this other admin. You know, the Purview one, and then it turned out he was getting them about Stephen as well. Now behind the scenes, there was stuff going on that the rest of the admins didn't know about. And Craig was a bit like a yo-yo. 1 minute he was admin, then he wasn't. Then he made a group of his own.
Before that happened, Craig had gone, come back, and then gone, had his own group, made his Stephen's girlfriend, internet girlfriend, an admin, and then he had a real problem with that. And he says at one point, you know, because he says, I wish I could kiss you. You're an angel from heaven. I mean, this guy is really sickly charming and has really taken a, you know, he said she's a young lady, maybe taking advantage. Well, is taking advantage. We know this. And then he says, you know, you're a light from heaven. And then suddenly he says, I'm angry with Craig. Yes, I'm going to humiliate him in front of an audience. I will be smart. He tried to play with me. You know, I'll put this message over the top so you can see. And then she says, if he had told you about that group, then why would you be angry too? And he's, no, I would have been fine. But secret group behind my back isn't okay. He must pay now. He is a snake person. It will be handled appropriately. This is insane. It's
he
he's a snake. Don't worry, I will destroy him in a big way. And she's like, I'm not admin anywhere else. You can check my groups, I swear. And he says, I trust you. I know you're loyal to me. How controlling is this?
Yeah.
But this snake is not loyal. I must calm down. Anger inside my blood now. But, like, this is crazy stuff. And he's talking about his rage and stuff.
Box.
What's that?
The dude's off his box. Seriously.
My God. He's got a... some sort of God complex as well, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, he thinks he's, you know, he's in control of all these people, and he is a big influence. You know, he's an influencer that's gained, and this is why we're making this video, because he's affecting a lot of people. But this woman, I have particular concern and sympathy for, and seeing these messages, you know, you kind of get defensive and angry with him for being so controlling.
MCK, if you sit and read everything you've been sent, you'll turn around and tell us you feel sick like everyone else has read everything that we've sent him to.
Well, I did. You know, Matt is with us. You know, he had sent me all of these screenshots. I have looked through them before, but of course, this was a few weeks back. We've been planning to do this video for a while. Glad we are doing it because it might open a lot of people's eyes. I have read through these, but it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, especially when you don't know the situation, the person, and the group. This is what I've learned, and this is what I've got experts basically in this field to come and talk to me and investigate this with me. And I'm looking back on them now. I've already read this. I knew it was a crazy story. I already had these feelings for this person who had been affected by him. But I'm reading them back now to remind me what he said, so I can tell you guys, and we can see, you know. I mean, I'm sure all of you, if not most of you, have already read all these messages.
I couldn't watch the videos. I read the messages. I stop at the videos. I won't put myself through that nipple rubbing and that.
I don't think that I will put all the videos that he sent her on this expose. You know, I've got a few. They are, yeah. I mean, I'll put some of. on top of this video. So if you're watching this back, you may have to endure a little bit of it. But if it makes you that angry, and you know, I don't think you're wrong to be put in that position. I'll put down my phone now because, you know, now let's talk about this. We've framed what the situation is. She's taking advantage of this woman. He's very controlling of this woman. Who knows the story? Who can tell me how that story ends?
No idea. I've not seen her. I've not seen her name around or anything since the day that she left Hats.
When I saw all the stuff on the Hats channel and it was being posted in other chats and other channels, it was done for me. I just didn't want to be associated with him as a person. As you know, he's messaged me. I've sent these things over to you, MC, you know, for you to see. And, you know, he's good with words. He's great with words. But I don't know. I mean, I sat there and told him that weekend when Claire and Shan, and I know you've already gone over this, but when they first started infiltrating Hats, and I thought to myself, why hasn't he looked at my channel? Because I shared M-Seeker videos for quite a long time. I shared them on Twitter before I got banned, and then I shared them all the time on Open Media, and I was thinking, why on earth is he working with this woman who literally is against the stuff that I'm promoting, you know, the truth. So then when I told him, and he just, you know, he'll say what he like me, he didn't care. And he asked me, said, would you do the same? And I was like, no, and I wouldn't. And anyone who knows me knows I just wouldn't. And going all the way back to where we are now, you know, I've spoke to him 3 times since I left Hats at the end of April. And I wasn't even admin. I just helped them. As a lot of people know, I help a lot of groups and channels to grow. And I didn't know none of that stuff that I saw on Hats group posted in other chats, all the videos, and I couldn't watch them all. I couldn't see them all, but I mean, there's a lot there. And
Mate, much respect for
know,
your integrity.
It's not good.
I must say, your integrity to leave that, along with many others that did, to come back to me to report on this. You know, to stand by your beliefs, as everyone here did, and that's why they are here. So I'm going to fast forward through this story a little bit because there's so many messages in there, but they get to the point where the major paranoia comes into play. I think that he had ignored this woman that he's having this relationship with. He had ignored her messages, but had spent the time messaging someone, another lady, attractive lady in his group. He'd replied to her and whatnot, but he'd not got back to his Turkish girlfriend who had been messaging him. And so she sort of says, you know, do whatever you want, say whatever you want. You just broke my heart. I need some time, you know, because he'd started ignoring her. And he says, honey, I'm sorry. Can you trust me? I just introduced a member to the group. So I think he'd said, oh, welcome to the group, but had ignored all of the messages from his girlfriend, basically. And she says she needs time. And that goes on for a bit. And, you know, just general sort of relationship arguments. Yeah, again, he starts to try and control her or make her feel bad for, you know, anyone, you know, if you're in that sort of type of relationship and he's messaging these women in his group, but ignoring her, who's meant to be his girlfriend, they're talking about marrying and him moving to Turkey or her coming over to England, and that's pretty serious stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you know, he says in caps, "I want to be with you. I love you. I want you to be my girlfriend." And I think she is at this point starting to realize that I've been taken for a mug. Basically, you know, I feel so bad for her.
Horrible.
It's an awful situation. I don't understand. I mean, he's standing, and she's quite a pretty girl. I don't know if you guys have seen, you know, a picture of her. She's a very pretty girl. I mean,
yeah,
you know, she's out of his league. Bless her. Anyway.
I think he literally, you know, he saw her coming, you know.
Saw her coming, yeah.
Yeah, literally. I don't know anybody that doesn't feel bad for her. You know, I know the admins all do. That obviously that know about this now.
This story, if you look through all the messages, obviously I'm not going to put them all in this video. For I don't really want to put that out there for her.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I don't want to put it all out there. I'll put some of it here. I don't want to put it all out there for her. But B, there's so much. I mean, who wants to sit through an hour of this girlfriend boyfriend conversation and arguments?
71 screenshots.
Exactly. But I was trying to get to the bottom of the gist of it for you guys. So basically, he took advantage of this girl. She was a young girl. She believed she was going to get married. It was that serious, and that is, it's.
I saw that.
I mean, I have so much sympathy for her.
That's fucked up.
It is. It's exactly. Yeah, you do.
It's the only way to describe it.
Fucked up. So let's move on now. I want to just try and cut that to the end. But I did want to give you some of what was said so you realise. I think I've missed it from skipping through those messages. At one point he said that or something along the lines of, I'm sure, so someone might be able to back me up and tell me exactly what he said, but he said something like I'm basically Telegram God. To her.
Yeah. I think he said something like, "I'm the most powerful man on Telegram."
That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most powerful. Now I am the most powerful man on Telegram. So this is the sort of dude that we're dealing with this. So I've got another message here from someone. I won't name their name. She said, "I just got kicked out of Hats for standing up for a single mum. She couldn't afford a T-shirt, and he told her she wasn't a true patriot if she didn't buy something."
I know who that is.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at the message. It says, "Hi," her name. "I'm the owner of Hats. How are you?" And she said, "Not good. You just lost me as a member. Harassing a single mum, telling her she's not a patriot because she can't afford a shirt." I mean, that's shocking. What else is said? Oh, yeah, so now it's showing, and I will put this message over the screen. "Hey, grab a T-shirt. I just ordered a black one." He ordered his own T-shirt, did he? "Let me know which colour you like." And then hours later, like 5 hours later, "Hey, did you order one?" And she says, "No, I didn't order one. I don't have the money to order one, but thank you." And he says, "So just order the mug." You fucking... So just order the mug.
From the mug.
You can't afford a T-shirt, order the mug, you mug. Yeah, I'll give you a mug. If you're a true patriot, you will order. You... She says, "Wow." Yeah, wow. And he says, "I'm the owner of Hats." I'm the owner of Hats, right?
Is that even a company?
And she says, rightly so, and go girl, "I'm a single mother living paycheck to paycheck, dude. So saying you're only a true patriot if you have money?" And he says, with a question mark, "You respect me?" As in, you respect me? Then buy a fucking mug. That makes me angry, man.
I think he's related to Greg Hallett.
What's that?
I think he's related to Greg Hallett.
He's that in terms of Greg Hallett was a fantastical liar, and he was great to report and expose. This guy is something else. He's something else, something I've not come across before. I've seen people almost shoving what they're selling down people's throats, taking advantage of people, doing it on a much bigger scale than this. But he is literally, wow, the manipulation, the gall of this guy. She's saying, "I'm a single mother. I live paycheck to paycheck," and he's like, "Well, buy a mug then." I just want to hit this guy.
You'd have to get to the back of the QM. I think there's a few.
Damn. That is really angered me. And I've seen this before, but I'm obviously going back through like, I don't know, 300 screenshots that I've got where I was like, okay, we need to do this video.
Stephen,
hey, Matty, I want to share an excerpt of a message that was sent to me by a Brit that I've been connected to for a while. Hats is a controlled op. If you look at their traffic and hear the shit they say, talk about in their voice chat, it's dominated by the artificial conspiracy theorists. These guys are plants, and this is what Max was talking about earlier. So there was a mysterious British Q lady who was tied to them. Her videos were very dramatic. Is this Great British Bird?
Yeah,
Could be.
Then you've got and I'll put this on top. What Max was talking about earlier. Stay at home and protect the NHS.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what he lied about the
Stay
phone. I asked
home.
him about that. I asked him about that. I didn't say I knew, but when he called me on the thing, I said, "Oh, but you used to support the NHS," and then he said, "Yeah, haha, but that was 7 years ago. But look at the date; it's in April 2020. That wasn't 7 years ago."
Just again, it's one of those things that doesn't add up. And then we've got this. I showed this, I think, to you guys earlier. This is Stephen with a copper, and it says met the owner of Hats Truth in central London. Is that the copper? Is that the policeman saying that, or is that the person took the picture? So what's this? This is a deleted account. Hi, I've changed channel ownership for Truth Revealed to the Hats owner at Stephen Broughton, and he will now be running the channel and the chat room. You are still a partner, but please contact him to let him know. If you still want to do cross promotion, I'm leaving Telegram for good. Thanks for all your help and all the best in your channel and chat.
Yeah, I forget his actual username, but he had, I think his channel must have had about, I want to say 17,000 members. I think he had a group, but I was never a member in the group. So as soon as he sent Matty that message, Matty disbanded himself from that channel, group, etc. Yeah, it just and then when I went to look at the channel, it was literally filled with hats, videos with a Hats watermark, Hats Truth watermark on it, like other people's videos, like CBS and CNN and and it was watermarked everything all over the top.
Oh God! So I've got a message from Stephen Broughton that I've just seen to Matt. And it says, firstly, hope you're well. Long time no speak. Been liking your content as always. Can't say I haven't made mistakes. The Clare thing was a massive misjudgment on my part. I didn't know who she was, but there aren't excuses. I should have done my research and done background checks. I just went with what Shan said, which was a mistake.
He said the same thing to me. Exactly the same thing.
I'd forgotten about this part of the story. So he regrets it.
But then he went back there for a second time.
Oh, okay. So he regretted it briefly when his friends didn't support him. And then when his friends fucked off because he was being...
Or when you need something.
Right, so he went back to where the moneymaker was. Right. I apologise to that woman and was drunk during that night, unfortunately. I have tried to push the merch in the past. I can't lie, and it's a regret. I have realised to be more patient with things, and this is the right way forward. I put previous admins in a bad position. It was wrong. I've learned a lot and need to be improved and develop as a person. You gave me some solid advice, and I appreciate it. You're very wise, and it came through in your videos. Matty is very wise. You're helping people see through the lies that we've all been told. A lot of these channels are similar, so when people ask me for something different, I point them in your direction. I don't know if he's so friendly with Matt now. Much love, bro, Stephen. And then he said the next day, hey, man, hope you're good. Do you have any posts that I can send a few people to get pushed out? And then Matt replies, and Matt is here, but he's got some connection problems. Hi, Stephen. I appreciate your words about my channel. I do know that you're good with PR and words. Please do not share anything from my channel. Blunt, Matt. Blunt, Matty. Please don't share anything from my channel. Like I said previously, I don't want anything to do with hats at all. I hope you are good in life. I really do. Matt. Big up, Matt. So, guys, what a journey. And what a journey you guys must have been on and being a part of this, knowing this. Any kind of final words from you guys?
I think he was responsible for attacking our room. In the guise of Patriots, it could be someone else. But what's weird, I talked to him. I asked him about it when he called me. Like, I hadn't talked to him for a long time, but you know, he first he hit me up with a different name. Then he hung up when I said, "Oh, didn't you work at ID Medical?" And he hung up the phone. And then he called right back from his real account. And then I don't know why he did that, but you know, when I talked to him and asked him, you know, he made excuses.
So any last words for those still in his groups, still following him?
Run.
Right. If you're a woman, watch out. Be careful.
Or run.
Or run. Yeah.
Screaming. Run.
Or just
You
find.
know, we didn't all leave for no reason. You know, I stuck it out, and I stuck it out because of the rest of the team. I stuck around for them. I just had a gut feeling I needed to be there because obviously, as Matty might have told you, you know, a lot of us are close. You know, we worked together for a long time, you know, daily. Probably see more of these guys than I do of my family half of the time. So, you know, luckily we had that bond where we can discuss anything. We had each other to, you know, to talk about things with. And when the time came, we left. You know, and I think I can probably say the same for the rest of them, that it was just time that, like, we shut that chapter on our hat story, you know, and then the rest of the crap came out. So if I was female and I've got him in my DMs, yeah, I'm blocking his ass.
I think that this video is going to be a bombshell for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that, as we spoke about in this video, that idolise him, or at least are followers of him and his groups or his network of groups.
Yeah.
I think this video is important. That's why I've done it. I thank you guys for being here. And, you know, I just want to close by saying, you know, listen to this video. If you've got this far, you have listened to this video. And make choices about your discernment. Guys, I've been MC Secret Truth. These guys have been very good sports. Thank you for being on the show. And yeah, use your discernment. And as always, follow MC Secret Truth.